Can we go into the house and check on the mom? All right, this is Anthony Bandiero, attorney and senior legal instructor for Blue to Gold Law Enforcement Training. This question comes from an officer in Utah. He says, look, I was sent to a home in my town. An adult child called and wants us to check on mom. He hadn't heard from her in a couple of days. This is very unusual because she's pretty good about picking up the phone and so forth. We didn't immediately notice any problems, mail stacking up or anything like that. And I was with another officer, and he wanted to go in, right, to check on mom. And the son also, who lived at a state, said we can go in. Well, look, we ended up going in, and the person was dead. So, but what if she was alive, right, and wanted to sue us or something like that, or we got into a use of force? What's the rules of engagement here? Well, here's what we know. We know that this entry would fall under the emergency aid exception. And the emergency aid exception asks two questions. Number one, do you have an objective reason to believe that somebody in the house needs or wants your help, protection, medical, and so forth? And number two, when you go into the house, you get to do those things in order to resolve that emergency, right? You get to look where people are, and if the person is unconscious and maybe looking for a medical alert bracelet and so forth, right? So it's not community caretaking. We know it's not community caretaking because community caretaking does not apply to homes. That applies outside the home. It applies to cars. It applies to civil commitments for people who cannot take care of themselves and are a danger to others. Here inside the home is the emergency aid exception. There's not a lot of facts here, right? But generally speaking, my experience has been this. Courts will bend over backwards to uphold these entries if they believe that the officer has good faith. Right, you are you're playing the role of community caretaker in a sense, right? You're trying to help people. These are not criminal investigations. The son is telling you things that, hey, look, my mom. Actually, in this case, she actually committed suicide. But my mom, has depression issues. She usually answers the phone. Maybe she's been talking about committing suicide and so forth. I haven't heard from her in 2 days. I think you're going in, right? But also take it step by step. Go to the backyard. Look in the windows. If they have a 2-story, maybe you get fire department out there and you get their ladder up there and you go up the ladder and you look in the window, after pounding on the door and so forth. Look in the garage. Can you see the car? Look in the mailbox. Is mail piling up? These are things that you probably want to do before, making a forced entry into the home. The entry into the home should be as reasonable as possible. Maybe, sometimes a locksmith is appropriate. In other words, maybe the neighbor has a key, things like that. So that's my kind of a quick answer. Again, just articulate it and you should be fine. But you do have to articulate that you believe that somebody is for this case, has a medical emergency. Not just, let's just make sure she's all right. That's not the logic here. It is, hey, look, I believe that there's a medical emergency going on here. And you're like, but Anthony, what if, dead people don't need you, right? Courts will also uphold, even if you have evidence there's a dead body in there. There's another video in my channel about, can you enter even if you do smell rotting flesh? The answer generally is yes, except in Colorado. All right. So hope that helps. Keep the questions coming. If you like what I'm doing here, comment, subscribe. That sends YouTube, kind of a message that you want this to be shown to other people that are watching similar videos. All right. Thanks, guys.